Hey guys, so today I'm going to do another video on my analog watch collection. So I've had a few videos like this on my channel in the past. The reason I'm doing another one right now is because I've expanded my collection to now 10 watches. So yeah, I think I started with maybe, when I first started my collection, it was about 6 watches back in 2020, I think. Then expanded to like 8 watches in 2021. And now we have 10 watches in 2024. So hopefully this will be it, because I don't want my wallet to keep bleeding. You know, my bank account's just getting lighter if I keep collecting watches, and yeah, I don't want to become too addicted to that. And then 10 is definitely enough, already more than enough actually. Anyways, I'm going to go through my new watch collection, and of course, because I've expanded 10 watches, I need to get a new watch case, because my old watch case, the Decorabe, only fit 8 watches. So this one fits 10. It is from Houndsbay, who makes pretty premium looking watch cases. So you got nice like leather lining right here, and some glass lid, and then you have the carbon fiber here for where the watches sit. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the 10 different watches here. So yeah, Houndsbay. This case by itself is like $100, so it tells you about my upscale watch collection. So I did set a rule for myself. All the watches here are under $2,000 US. So there's no watch here that costs over $2,000. But at the same time, they are all pretty expensive watches. So the whole collection is still worth quite a bit. Anyways, yeah, that's why I have a premium looking watch case, because all my watches are still fairly premium, even though they're all under $2,000. But yeah, still, let's take a look. All right, now we have 10 watches now, which means my watch collecting hobby or addiction is getting deeper. It's not necessarily a good thing, but I guess the good news is I have more stuff to show you guys, so hence why I have another video right now. So yeah, let's go over each watch, and I'm gonna go from the back, from left to right, and then over to the front. Okay, explaining a bit about each one. So yeah, let's start from the back here. So as always, start out with the German brands actually first. This is the Nomos Tetra 404, I think, or 408. Anyways, this is the Tetra is the name of this model because it's shaped exactly like a perfect square. And Nomos is a German brand. It's fairly well known amongst watch aficionados, maybe not amongst the mainstream public, but for horologists and watch collectors, I think Nomos is fairly well known. They are set up fairly recently, I say, in the 90s, early 90s. So after the Germany got back together, and yeah, they are produced in Glashütte, which is the traditional watchmaking town in Germany, and they actually make all their own parts, all their own movements, even the escapement is made by them. So they truly are an in-house operation. They're very well known for their minimalistic Bauhaus design, so you can see how minimalistic their watches look. To me, I mean, I like Bauhaus design, minimalism, so yeah, for me, like when I saw this watch, I was like, this is a really unique, cool watch, right? It's not just like a typical like tank shape, like a Cartier tank, but this one is a perfect square. So yeah, it's actually not that easy to find watches that are like perfect squares like this, and it's got a very minimalist design, very typical of Nomos. You got 1 second sub-dial right there, no seconds hand at all, just very minimalist that way. And this one's hand wound only, so it is not automatic. You have to hand wind it, and that's fine by me. I actually I don't mind hand winding at all, actually, since I don't wear any of these watches like every single day, right? I switch between them, so automatic is not really, if you have an automatic watch, you got to keep it wound, right? And then some people get the expensive watch winders, like automatic watch winders in the case and whatever, those cost hundreds of dollars. So yeah, anyways, hand winding is fine for me. I actually modified the strap. It used to be a black leather strap. I modified it by adding an official Nomos textile strap right here, which makes it look both classy and casual at the same time, so you can use it for both. I also like how thin it is. So yeah, very, very stylish design. Kept this watch since 2020, so for a good 4 years now I've had this watch, and it's just really unique. I can dress up with it, I can dress down with it, so it's a very versatile watch now that I've I've changed the strap out. Before it was a leather strap, and then of course it was more classy with it, and then I couldn't really dress down with it. But now that I added the textile strap, I can dress down with it and still keep it kind of formal at the same time. So yeah, anyways, I love how thin it is, how minimalistic, simple it is. This one's using the Nomos Alpha caliber. If you guys want to see the back, here it is. This is using the 3/4 plate that Glashütte normally uses. Decent amount of decoration. But yeah, this is their own movement, in-house movement. With the Glashütte 3/4 case is their Alpha caliber. So yeah, that's the Nomos Tetra. There we go. And up next we have another German brand. This is my only other German brand on here. It is the Junghans Meister Kalendar. So this watch I've owned since 2019, so this is my second oldest watch in this collection in terms of how long I've owned it. What I like about this watch is that, yeah, so it basically is a calendar. It provides, I have 4 complications on it actually. So it has the day right here, and it has the month right here, and it has the date right here in kind of a circle, and it has the moon phase. So it has 4 different complications right here, and what's incredible about that is that it doesn't look busy. Like usually on a dial, if you're gonna have this many complications, if you have this much stuff to do, like a month, day, date, and a moon phase, usually it's going to take up a lot of space. Like for example, the Orient Sun and Moon that I owned for a while before, like it takes up a lot of space, right? If you have this much complications, and then you need the calendar functionality. But what's amazing about Junghans is this German company, which dates back to I think the early 1900s. Yeah, this German company has been around for a very long time, and they're also known for making minimalistic designs, just like with Nomos. So they also make Bauhaus type designs, but their Meister line is also really good as well. Their Max Bill line is probably the most famous, but yeah, I really like their Meister line as well. And you can see their minimalistic design in this dial right here. So you can see with this design, they somehow managed to fit all these complications in and still kept the design really clean looking. And that's just a rare thing to do. You know, that's a hard thing to do. It's difficult to give you this much functionality at the same time the dial is not too busy. So I really like this design. Typical Junghans, they keep everything so minimalistic. This is a dome dial, and it's actually using Hardlex crystal. It's not using sapphire. I think the majority of my watches use sapphire, but this one uses Hardlex crystal, and still looks really nice. It's a nice gray dial here, stainless steel bracelet. So by the way, I didn't talk about the price yet. Forgot to talk about that. The Nomos Tetra, I forget how much this was brand new, but I bought this for about $1,300 US. And the Junghans calendar cost me $1,600 US, but I got this brand new. I did not get the second hand. I had to get the Nomos second hand. So yeah, $1,600 brand new for this one. Not too much decoration on the movement. I think Nomos had better decoration. This is not an in-house movement. Junghans does not make in-house movements. They use Sellita, I believe. Yeah, I think it might be just a decorated Sellita or Valjoux movement. But Junghans does not make their own movements. They just use Swiss movements and kind of decorate it with their own kind of branding. But yeah, that aside, Junghans is still a very well-respected German watchmaker. So yeah, overall, I think I really appreciate this design because they make it look really minimalistic and also give you a lot of functionality at the same time. So you get the full calendar, day, date, and moon phase, but still the dial is really clean looking. So that's what I like about it. I like really clean looking designs. All right. All right, up next is actually going to be my oldest watch in terms of how long I've owned it. This is the Oris GMT, Greenwich Mean Time Limited Edition. So it's not just any GMT, it's the Greenwich Mean Time, and it's a limited edition model that Oris released back in 2018. I got this back in 2018. So yeah, this watch I bought for $2,000 brand new. And yeah, and they don't make it anymore because it was a limited edition. And yeah, Oris is a Swiss brand dating back to the early 1900s, I believe. They're known for making a lot of different kinds of designs and being pretty good at all of them. Like they make divers, they make pilot watches, they make dressy watches. They're fairly good at everything. And yeah, what I liked about this is I needed a GMT watch because I travel a lot and go between different time zones. I also work from other time zones. So what I really needed to have a dual time zone watch. And I like how Oris did this. Most GMT designs have this other GMT hand, and I don't like that. That's the Rolex design. I don't like that because it makes the dial look more busy, actually. You have like four hands basically, right? If you have like a minute hand, seconds hand, hour hand, and a GMT hand, that's 4 different hands on the same dial. That's too busy. So what Oris did was they added a sub dial instead. Instead of having an extra hand, they added actually, instead of 2 extra hands, they don't have the second hand or the GMT hand. They only have the hour and minute hand. And instead of the seconds hand, they have a second subdial, just like the Nomos. And instead of a GMT hand, they have a GMT subdial, a second a subdial here that's for the second time zone. And to me, that makes the dial look a lot less busy, and again, more clean and functional looking to me. And they also have a date indicator here as well at the 6 o'clock. So yeah, again, just like with the Junghans, Oris managed to fit a lot of stuff here, but the dial still looks pretty clean. So given all this functionality. So that's what I like about it. Other like World Timer, GMT designs, like there's too much stuff going on, right? Like I had my Casio Oceanus for a while, the Frederic Constant World Timer, like they have all this stuff around the dial and bezel and stuff. Like, yeah, it gets way too busy. So I really appreciate that Oris with their World Timer dual time zone design, that they just kept it to just one subdial essentially. And then they have an AM PM indicator just with that little window there. It's either black or white. So just a simple indicator like that. No need to clutter up the dial. So yeah, I really like this design. In the back here, there is no see-through window here. There's just a little engraving of Sir Sanford Fleming. He's actually Canadian, the man who proposed Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, there he is on the back right here. So yeah, that's my Oris GMT limited edition. It's limited to 1,000 units. So I had this one the longest. I've used it whenever I go back to Korea or Japan, or whenever I travel, I always use this watch. It's a dual time zone watch, so I can keep track of both time zones. All right, up next, another Swiss brand that I got is Raymond Weil. So this is the Raymond Weil Beatles Let It Be limited edition. So this watch I got back in 2022, and what I liked about it is that even though it's about the Beatles, and it says the Beatles right here, which was one of my favorite bands ever. I mean, who doesn't love the Beatles, right? This is not like, doesn't really look like a Beatles watch, because nothing here really indicates that it's the Beatles except for the Beatles logo here, and then the 4 markers here that denote the 4 band members. So this denotes the 4 band members, and yeah, and they have the logo, and that's really it. The rest of the watch could just be any other watch. I mean, doesn't really say that it's the Beatles at all, other than those things. And that's actually what I like about it, because I don't want a watch that's like too much, right? They have made other Beatles limited edition models, and they were kind of just, yeah, they're just so-so, but I like this one the most. It's a semi-skeletonized dial, so you can see that this semi-skeleton dial is really unique to this model, though, because this model is based upon the shape of the UK, roughly. So it's roughly shaped in the UK. Sorry, the silhouette of the island, right, of the UK, like England, Scotland, Wales, and they have right in the center here, supposedly, is where Liverpool is. So that's an homage to the Beatles, but you wouldn't know that unless, just because I told you that. But normally you would not even know that. So it doesn't really look like it's a Beatles tribute watch, except for just this logo here, really. Yeah, I like that. I like the gold accents. I like the smaller size of this. This one is like 39.5, I think, millimeter diameter. And yeah, this is a Swiss brand, Raymond Weil. They've been in business since the mid-70s, family owned. Honestly, an underrated brand. A lot of people just kind of look down upon them because they sound like a fashion brand, but they're not. They're a legit watch brand. So it's not like don't think of this as a Kenneth Cole or a Michael Kors or like a Marc Jacobs or something. No, Raymond Weil is a pretty legit watch brand because it actually was started by a guy named Raymond Weil. But yeah, this Beatles limited edition doesn't really scream the Beatles, and that's actually what I like about it, because I can wear this outside and most people wouldn't even know. Right, it's just a little small logo here. That's the only thing that's kind of obvious. The rest is not obvious, and I do like the semi-skeleton design because it's pretty unique to this watch. Battle at the back here, they just have this, the Beatles logo there, kind of blocking the view, which honestly I don't really like. Like I wish it didn't have that, but anyways, yep, it just has kind of that thing blocking the view, but it's decently decorated actually. It's that you can't see it well because this Beatles logo, but it's actually pretty decently decorated. It's limited to 3,000 units. So anyways, it's a nice dressy watch. Yeah, sometimes I wear it because it has a leather band, the brown leather strap, which is also kind of unique to this watch as well. That's an homage to John Lennon's coat. I'm serious. So yeah. That one's a little bit more of a dressy watch, but yeah, I like that one too. The semi-skeleton design is unique. All right, next up we have another Swiss watch here. This is actually the only brand here that's a Swatch company. And yeah, I'll show you guys. This is a very unique looking watch. It is the Hamilton Elvis 80 skeleton. So yeah, very, very unique looking watch, obviously. Hamilton is an American brand originally, but became a Swiss brand, a Swatch brand later on. So now it's pretty much just a Swiss brand. Really love Hamilton's, most of their watches. I think I do like the design and also their price points, not too expensive. I forgot about the price again. So sorry, the Raymond Weil Beatles watch, $1,500 US is what I paid for that. That's actually a discount. I think it retailed originally for $2,000 brand new. And yeah, this one, the Hamilton Ventura Elvis 80 skeleton, is one of Hamilton's most expensive watches. This retails for $1,800 brand new. I got this for $1,300. So yeah. It's an expensive watch, but it is unique. I mean, just like with the Beatles, Raymond Weil, like I said, the skeleton cutout for this watch is pretty unique to this model, and this one is also unique to this model because, well, what other watch looks like this, right? Only the Ventura Elvis 80 models look like this. This is big triangular shape that's inspired by the Ventura, which is a model that dates back to the 1950s. The first battery-powered watch actually came out way before, well, 10 years before Quartz did, I think. Elvis famously wore it in the movie Blue Hawaii, and then it became very, very popular. And now they sell an entire line of Ventura watches, this being one of them, the Elvis 80 skeleton. I actually had the non-skeleton version before as well, but got the skeleton version because it just looks really, really cool. The skeletonized, type of thing, just like with the Beatles one, it's super unique. Has this like red power line indicator right there. It's really, really cool. So yeah, anyways, this is a really fun, unique watch that I have in my collection. Rubber strap. This is what the back looks like. It's using a Swiss ETA movement. Of course, ETA is owned by Swatch, so every Swatch brand pretty much, if they don't make their own movements, they use ETA. So Hamilton's no exception here. They also use ETA here, which is fine. But yeah, anyways, very, very unique watch. You can tell the triangular case shape, the curved sapphire glass here. Yeah, that's something that you would pretty much only see on this model. So that's the Ventura Elvis 80 skeleton. All right, this is probably one of Hamilton's most expensive models. I think they actually have an updated version that's even more expensive. They have the Year of the Dragon version, which has like a dragon shape on here, and that's even more expensive. They keep updating the Ventura models, so yeah. All right, up next, let's go down to the bottom row here. We have here the Seiko Presage limited edition 110th anniversary shippo enamel. Yeah, I don't want to read the model number because Japanese always have like really hard to remember model names. So I'll just call this the 110th anniversary shippo enamel. So yeah, this watch is one of my most expensive watches. It's $2,000 US. Got it brand new. It's limited to only 800 units. worldwide. And what's special about this one is the dial here. So a lot of Japanese watches, they have really they focus on the dials rather than the complications or the decoration of the movements. Japanese tend to focus on the quality and craftsmanship of the dial. This is probably one of Seiko's most expensive models. That's not Grand Seiko. So out of Seiko Presage, I think this is one of the most expensive Seiko Presage models. Yeah, so I think what you can tell is that I really like the gold accents here. It does have a power reserve, date wheel right here, and yeah, it's a automatic movement. You can tell not much decoration on the back of the movement. Japanese don't really focus too much on that, but yeah, it's the dial that's really special about this is the fact that they have this shippo enamel dial that's this blue color, and it's a little bit hard to see unless you have the light kind of shining on it, but yeah, so the reason why it's so expensive is because of the dial here. Now it's kind of hard to see this unless you have a more direct natural sunlight on here. But yeah, what's special about this dial is that, yeah, it's basically an artisan has to repeatedly, I guess, fire this dial, and it's using the material shippo enamel to create this sort of wave-like pattern on the dial here. And it's very, very subtle, which is why you guys might not be able to see it that well, but it's a very, very subtle effect. But overall, I really do like it. It's very unique to this, I mean, to Seiko, essentially. Seiko works with a lot of stuff like this, a lot of enamel dials and stuff like that. Other Japanese brands do too, but Seiko, of course, does have their own special dials that they make, like this one. So yeah, overall, really, really unique, beautiful dial here. Again, not sure how well you guys can see it. Maybe not very well in this light. But yeah, if you look closely, yeah, there's basically these like really small wave patterns on the dial itself, and which makes it really, really beautiful. So anyways, very gorgeous looking watch. It is a dress watch mostly. I mean, it's got this nice leather strap and everything. The gold accents, it really contributes to making this a really nice dress watch. So yeah, it's definitely a bit on the thicker side, and that's to be expected for a lot of Japanese watches. But overall, you know, the dials, right? The craftsmanship of the dial is what makes this one really, really special. So, yep, the Seiko Presage shippo enamel. All right. All right, up next is actually the other most expensive watch in my collection. It's also Japanese. And this one also has a really cool dial on it. But this one, perhaps you guys can see more easier than the Seiko. So this is the Orient Star 70th Anniversary Limited Edition Mechanical Moonphase. Again, I don't remember the model number because it's really hard to remember, but just, yeah, look up 70th Anniversary Mechanical Moonphase for Orient Star. So yeah, Orient, just like Seiko, is a very historic Japanese watch company. So Seiko dates back to maybe the 1800s, I think. So they're Japan's oldest watch company, or one of the oldest. Definitely their most well-known, though. Seiko is probably the most well-known Japanese watch company. Orient, not quite as well-known as Seiko, but they've been around since the 1950s, so they have quite a history as well. These days, they pretty much only focus on mechanical watches. They're owned by Epson, a big Japanese company making, you know, most people know that makes printers. Yeah, so they've been around for a while as well. So yeah, Seiko, this one's their 110th anniversary, and then I have Orient Star's 70th anniversary here. Orient Star is their highest end model for Orient, which is basically very competitive with the Seiko Presage. So very similar price point. I got this also for $2,000. Also has a very, very cool looking dial. Perhaps this one's easier to see than the Seiko dial because it's not quite as subtle. You definitely can see this unique mother of pearl blue-green dial that's kind of inspired by the nebula of the stars. So that's what they say. You guys can see though, that's a really beautiful looking dial. And yeah, this is, I like this watch for many reasons. It's also very dressy looking. But yeah, like many things going on here. So yeah, the indices here are all applied Roman indices, which I don't have for any other watch. Like my Seiko is, this one's not really Well, this one is applied, but it's not using the metallic markers that the Orient Star is. And power reserve indicator, just like with the Seiko, and heartbeat movement. Also has a date indicator like the Seiko does, but in a different way. This one is more similar to the way my Junghans does it. It's kind of more in a circle around the moon phase, and this one has a moon phase. So yeah, I have 3 watches with moon phases. So you guys have seen the Junghans, right? So the Junghans has a similar kind of design for the date in the moon phase. But I would say the Junghans, their way of doing it is a little bit more simplistic, right? Because that's Junghans design language. Orient's a little bit more flashy here. So yeah, the way that they did their date indicator moon phase. Of course, the star of the watch is the dial here. Really, really beautiful dial, right? So this one, the mother of pearl, really, really beautiful. Yeah, it comes with this crocodile leather strap here. The back is not too decorated, just like with the Seiko. They don't focus too much on decorations, and it's also kind of a thick case. This one's a bigger watch. The Seiko is a 39.5, and this is a 41 millimeter. Definitely a bigger watch. But overall, yeah, also really beautiful looking watch. And this is probably my most limited watch, the rarest one I have. This is only limited to 100 pieces worldwide. That's right. So yeah, this is my most limited watch. So it was hard to find. Once I saw this online, I knew I had to get it. It's really, really beautiful and incredibly rare, actually. So yeah, that's the Orient Star 70th anniversary mechanical moon phase. Very, very limited watch, very beautiful dial. Yeah, so this one is, maybe it's definitely easier to notice than the Seiko for sure. But both really beautiful dials, though. I think it's more beautiful in person than in the video here. All right, next up is another very, very interesting and limited watch. So the rest of the brands here, we've gone over actually all these bigger brands. The other 3 here are actually from micro brands, which are smaller companies. So this is Atowak, the Atowak Spaceship. It's by a small Chinese micro brand who's known for making very, very unique designs on all their watches. So yeah, when I saw the Spaceship, I was like, oh, this is a really cool design. It's inspired by one of the very high-end, Frank Muller, Urwerks, Richard Mille, like that type of stuff. So they make watches based on very, very expensive Swiss designs, but they make it a lot more affordable. So this watch is only $1,400 US. Yes, only, but I mean, for this kind of design, it's pretty much unheard of for it to be that cheap. So this is a wandering hands movement. Usually this kind of movement is only on very expensive Swiss watches, but for Atowak, they make this one more affordable looking. So yeah, the crown is actually right here, right? You gotta push it out and push it back in right here. This little circle ring here is actually the seconds indicator. So it really is trying to look like a spaceship here. The whole design is trying to be like a spaceship. And yeah, this is just a really, really unique looking watch. It's limited to only 300 units per color. There's only a few colors available, so there's not too many of these out in the wild. Plus it's a micro brand, so not many people know about it. But those in the know, this is a really cool watch. Yeah, so how you read it, it's kind of retrograde. So retrograde dials you read from right to left, which means that, so first you have the hands here, right? So the hand here, it tells you the hour, and then here is the minutes, but just you read it backwards. So you read it like, so right now it'll be 5:36, 37, like that. So you kind of read it kind of backwards. That's what's retrograde about it. In fact, I used to have the Étoile drift, right, which is kind of like this. That's basically turn on its side like that and kind of read it like that. But yeah, very, very unique dial, very unique design. Blue rubber strap here. Also the movement down here is a Miyota, I believe. Yeah, Miyota movement. By the way, Seiko and Orient both use their own in-house movements. So Seiko and Orient are just known for being, they've always used their own in-house movements, so they didn't have to outsource to anything for their movements. But the Atowak, because they're a micro brand, yeah, they have to use Miyota here for the movement, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with Miyota movements. They're pretty reliable. Japanese movements. So yeah, that's the Miyota movement right there. It's been decorated a little bit, but overall, very, very cool, unique, interesting design. Just when I wear it, like nobody else has a watch like this. It gets even more looks than the Hamilton Ventura does, and that says a lot. Very, very cool looking watch. All right, next up I have the Corniche Bleu chronograph. So this is my chronograph. I usually don't like chronographs because they're too busy, but this brand makes some very very nice, classy looking chronographs actually. So it's not too expensive either. So this is a actually it's technically a Swedish brand, even though it based its roots in France. So Corniche is a French name, and they really talk up the French connection, but the founders are, I think, believe in Sweden, I believe. So yeah. All the chronographs kind of look the same, like similar. It's just the design of the dial and the color of the dial is different. So for this one, this limited edition release, this is called the Bleu d'Or. You see on the back, it's basically inspired by some of the drives along the French coast on the back. And this is technically not a fully mechanical watch. It's a hybrid. It's using a hybrid Seiko movement. So it uses basically a mechanical bearing for the or mainspring for the the little chronograph section here. So for this ticking seconds hand for the chronograph, that's what uses the mechanical movement, and I can reset it like this. And then for the normal operation of the watch, it's actually using quartz. So it's a hybrid movement, hybrid Seiko movement, I believe. And this specific pastel blue color, this is limited to this version, the Bleu d'Or. They have other unique limited edition designs that have different designs, kind of similar with the chronograph, the actual chronograph subdials, but the actual like placement of the indices might be different and the color might be different. This one just tends to use this one uses pastel blue, and you can tell the leather is matched as well, the leather strap, I mean. So yeah, overall I like this design. It's limited to only 200 units. I have number 199, so this is my second most rarest watch after the Orient. So yeah, overall I really like this. It's got a very nice design. I like the vintage kind of size of it. Yeah, just the fact that it's a chronograph but it's not too busy. Also the applied Arabic indices, not something that you see all the time on other watches. So overall, I really like this watch. This is a Corniche Bleu d'Or, and it's only $500 US, so it wasn't too expensive. This is my cheapest watch here in the collection. All right, and then, okay, lastly, we have another micro brand here. This is the Ferrer Burbridge. Ferrer is a British micro brand that is actually made in Switzerland. So technically, yeah, it's Swiss made, but the actual brand itself is British. And what I like about this design, and this is my third moonphase here, and it's probably the most prominent because the moonphase window here is huge. Yeah, it's got a very distinctive moonphase design. I haven't seen many other moonphase designs with this big of a window. So that's kind of what drew my attention. Also the unique shape, it's kind of like a tonneau shape right here. So not exactly fully round, not fully square. Yeah, it's also got this little textured design right here. It actually came with a green strap, but I swapped it for this Milanese loop. So yeah, it's just easier for me, and plus I can wear it in more situations. Like the Corniche is pretty much a dressy watch too, and so is the Orient, and so is the Seiko, right? So yeah, I just wanted to have a watch that was I can wear it in more situations. This is something I can wear every day. Really love the design. It's got an Arctic blue burst dial right here, and the moon phase is unique because you can see that there's a pink moon here. So not many moon phases use a pink moon. I actually don't know any other moon phase that has a pink moon. So we've seen like usually moon phases that look like what they are on the Junghans or on the Orient. Like it's usually a very small moon and they're usually white or yellow. But in this one, it's pink. And Ferrer has some other designs as well for their moon phases. All of them I think are pretty cool and unique. They're all hand painted too. And this watch costs $1,600, so about the same price as the Junghans. I think this is a really cool, unique looking watch. Definitely one of the best looking moon phases I've ever seen. So when this watch went on sale, actually when it debuted online, I knew I had to get it. So yeah, and it has this date indicator here at the bottom. That's a nice little extra to have. And if you look at the back, it's got a really nicely decorated movement here. So this is like one of my most decorated movements. So out of all these watches, even though it's not their own movement, I believe this is some sort of Solita, I think. Yeah, but anyways, it's really nicely decorated. So overall, really love this watch. Beautiful looking watch. It's not automatic. You gotta hand wind it, and that's fine. Even like down to the little arrow here, a little blue arrow here that has their logo on it. Yeah, everything is really nice about this watch. So it's Ferro is one of my favorite micro brands. They do make some really cool designs. Also, I think forgot to talk about when I got all these watches after the Raymond Weil. So yeah, the Hamilton up all the way up to the Ferro, except for the Corniche. The Corniche I got back in 2022 as well. But then the Hamilton, Seiko, Orient, Atowak, and Ferro, I got all these just in the last year, so in 2023. Actually, I got this Orient Star just this year, 2024. So yeah, most of these watches I got recently. So within the last year, I think I got these, half of them, and then the other half are they came from before. So I've been swapping watches a bit. Hopefully I won't have to keep swapping them anymore. I think this is a good collection to have now. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. My most expensive is the Oris, the Seiko, and the Orient. All three of these cost me $2,000, so there's $6,000 right there. And then my cheapest is the Corniche, only $500. I mean, yeah, it's expensive. It's still an expensive collection, but I did adhere to my philosophy that no watch costs over $2,000. There's a lot of watches that cost $2,000, but not, well, three of them cost $2,000, but none of them exceed $2,000. So I still managed to adhere to my rule. And I know that's anyways, yeah, 10 watches now in my collection. I think I should stop here, right? I shouldn't, yeah, I should stop here. I should stop myself from buying anymore. But anyways, guys, I think this is enough. That's enough analog and digital watches for me. I have my digital watches in another video. But yeah, certainly for analog watches, I think this is probably enough for me. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions about any of these watches or just watches in general. But yeah, I try to keep all the brands distinct. I don't want any repeats of the same brand. I also don't want any country dominating the other. So as you guys can see, I have 3 Swiss, 2 German, 2 Japanese, and all 3 of these like micro brands kind of from different countries. So I don't want any country dominating the other. I don't want any 2 watches to look really similar to each other either. And yeah, like even the straps and everything, I try to change them out so they don't look too similar. I want the use cases to all be different. I want different colors and everything for each. And I don't want any of the same brand repeating. So anyways, I try to keep it as diverse and distinct as I can, just to have a more, you know, diverse looking collection. So I'm not one of those guys that collects a whole bunch of Rolexes and G-Shocks and stuff like that. I want to keep a nice distinct collection here. So anyways, that's it. That's my collection as of 2024. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thanks for watching.